Hi, I'm Pip Waller and this is Being Human. And today I'm continuing my menopause and perimenopause series by talking about how the adrenal glands are involved in symptoms, difficult symptoms during these times. So actually, we've said that in perimenopause and in menopause itself, the ovaries are becoming less productive of estrogen particularly, but the sex hormones, estrogen, progesterone, these are dropping. And eventually they stop producing altogether estrogen. That's then considered, that's when you've got actual menopause is, and when they've completely stopped producing the estrogen, and then postmenopausal period is you don't have, they're not making, the ovaries aren't making, they're not working anymore, they've retired. So, but the good thing is, or one thing that's helpful, is that our adrenal glands, which are there, they're sort of little hats. It's like a little cap that sits one on top of each kidney. Your kidneys are at the back. If you put your hands round the back with your and feel where your ribs are, the lower part of your ribs, so that the kidneys are tucked up behind there, just on either side of the spine, on the lower part of your ribs. They're behind there, and on top of them, they're about 4 inches big, and on top of them, little caps, the adrenal glands. And the adrenal cortex around the outside, which makes the steroid hormones, cortisol, also makes some androgens. Now, these androgens are like a male sex hormone, but actually, the male sex hormone is testosterone. I'll talk about that another time. But although it's interesting to mention that women do have all the hormones, estrogen, progesterone, and some testosterone, and men have estrogen and progesterone as well as testosterone, but they're actually very, very similar, and they're sometimes converted one to another in the body. The body's got ways of doing that. So the adrenal glands make androgens. They do that all through your life, but they continue to do it after menopause. And the androgen can be a precursor to estrogen. So your fat cells and your muscle cells are able to convert the androgens made in the adrenal glands, convert them into estrogen. And that can keep you healthy after menopause in a good way. It sort of can keep your skin soft, it can keep your hair in good condition. It can stop the vagina from becoming too dry, because one of a very unpleasant symptom of a deficiency in estrogen is to have a dry vagina that can become, and I'm not talking just about a bit dry where you might need some lube if you're having sex. I'm talking about properly dry, where it's not making any secretions at all, and it can be so dry that it can even be painful to walk, because it chafes and so on. So that's a serious problem. That's not a normal problem. That's a pathological problem. That means it's gone beyond what's normal. And one of the ways that things are kept juicy at all is with our own estrogen that we can make from the androgen precursor in the adrenal glands. So here's the thing. What if your adrenal glands, two things can interfere with that. One is your adrenal glands are knackered because you've had years and years and years of stress. Actually, women of any age listening to this, if you're much younger and you already know you've got really high stress levels, then start doing something about it now, because you're you sort of grow a more serious menopause in a way by having years and years of stress. So obviously stress, it doesn't only give you a bad menopause, it makes so many illnesses. And we have got, it's endemic in our society, there's just too much stress in the way that we're living. And so it's something we really need to address from a holistic naturopathic perspective. It's absolutely crucial. And of course, actually have a better life and more happiness if you've got less stress as well. So let's think about it. So you're minimizing your stress, but also there are certain things you can do to nourish and support your adrenal glands, and that includes, there's licorice and borage are two key herbs that are used to nourish the adrenal glands. And sometimes Eleutherococcus, Siberian ginseng, that's another one. These are things that you can just think about. Your adrenal glands need a little bit of help. Also, what's it called in English? Ribes, blackcurrant buds. The buds of the blackcurrant, they are very, very, very good adrenal tonic herb, or food almost, you could think of that as. So diminishing your stress, looking after your adrenal glands. Many herbalists and naturopaths, when they're treating perimenopausal or menopausal women, will treat and nourish the adrenal glands, especially if there's been any kind of stress during your life. The other thing is, the other aspect of that, so your adrenal glands making the androgen, but it's your fat and your muscle cells that will be converting it into estrogen. So sometimes women that are very thin, skinny, have a difficult time in menopause because, well, two reasons actually. One, because of not having enough flesh and fat to convert the androgen to estrogen, and the other is that if you're very thin, you're often more prone to osteoporosis because weight bearing makes your bones stronger. So if you're a very thin woman, your bones may not have been as strong as if you've been heavier. It's quite an interesting thing to me that after menopause, if you keep eating the same amount after menopause, you will get heavier. And you can see that anyone that's ever had a female pet that's been neutered, spayed, is you see that they get fatter. They're eating the same amount, but they get fatter. That's because without estrogen, you basically put on weight. But I think that's incredibly neat part of the design. It's that actually we might need to have some extra flesh on us after menopause in order to keep on being able to make that little bit of estrogen that we need. What I have found as well is that increasing your exercise, really making sure you're doing some proper exercise coming up to menopause and afterwards is important, because that will increase your bone density, which reduces the risk of osteoporosis, and it will also give you some nice good build up those muscles so that they're ready to convert androgen to estrogen. Anyway, that was enough for this video. I think there are going to be quite a lot in this series, so I hope you like them. Thanks for listening. I'm Pip Waller. This is Being Human.